What does Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore, Ben Affleck, Charlize Theron, and Ellen DeGeneres all have in common? Well, they quit smoking using a very interesting technique. Let's learn a little bit more about this from Dr. James Pinkney, who's a medical expert for 1320 WILS and Fox News Radio. Dr. Pinkney, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
A lot of folks, especially folks that are high energy have challenges with quitting smoking, but some high profile people could be leading the way for many others to quit smoking. Tell us about how these people are doing it.
Yes, I've read in the news that hypnotherapy is becoming mainstream, and it actually is an effective way to stop smoking.
How does it work?
Basically, there's a couple of barriers to quitting smoking. The most important barrier is obviously nicotine addiction. Nicotine is a very potent drug. It's very addictive, but there's also an association with smoking and environmental triggers. So some people like to have a cigarette with an alcoholic beverage or after a meal or even with a morning cup of coffee. So hypnotherapy actually works to break down those associations of smoking with environmental triggers.
Researchers at the University of Iowa combined more than 600 studies of smoking cessation programs involving 72,000 people in North America and Europe, and this technique was used 3 times more effectively. So do you think this is the wave of the future to help folks quit smoking?
Well, actually I read that study, Tony, and that was actually performed in 1992. And it was a meta-analysis of uncontrolled studies. And in medicine, for evidence-based medicine, we really like to see randomized controlled studies to have the best data. So I don't think we have enough data right now to say that hypnotherapy is better than nicotine replacement or e-cigarettes. But I have read some studies showing that it does work. It is effective, but we need a little bit more evidence to determine if that intervention is more efficacious than medicines that I use, as well as behavioral counseling.
Dr. Pinkney, does it work long term? So is the fix forever?
Studies have shown that it does work long term. Now, it may take several sessions. Usually it takes about 5 sessions, and we have learned that individual therapy is more potent than group therapy. So I do recommend going to an individual hypnotherapist instead of doing the group sessions with several people.
Dr. Pinkney, I remember some time ago I had a close friend who smoked, and she really wanted to quit. And she told me, you have no idea how hard it is to do that because it's very, very addictive. You agree with that?
It is. Nicotine causes some serious physical dependence and even intolerance. So you have to smoke more and more nicotine to have the same effects. And nicotine withdrawal symptoms are very tough to beat. You can have depressed mood, difficulty sleeping, anger, frustration, difficulty concentrating. So when you have a cigarette, these withdrawal symptoms go away. It's very negative and very hard to beat.
Dr. Pinkney, are there other ways to kick the habit? Are there easier ways than hypnotherapy?
We've looked at acupuncture. We've looked at what's called aversive therapy, where you smoke a lot of nicotine in a short amount of time. But, the best way, all the clinical trials have showed the best way to stop smoking is actually behavioral counseling coupled with medication. So things like partial nicotine agonists or nicotine replacement therapy, Nicorette gum, things of that nature. That's really the best way to stop smoking.
We've been talking with Dr. James Pinkney, who's a medical expert with 1320 WILS and Fox News Radio. Dr. Pinkney, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, Tony. Have a great day.